Apologize to those. The question is the existence of God. So this does go to perhaps a semantical way of asking a question of our atheist speaker. If this is a world religious conference, are you as an atheist admitting to the atheistic belief being a form of religion, in that by faith you believe your point of view, knowing that you cannot prove 100% that there is no God? So basically challenging the premise of your existence here being maybe believing that there is faith. I don't know.
Well, it's actually a good question. Richard Dawkins, he's probably the most famous vocal atheist around. He was actually complaining. He set up a charity, the Richard Dawkins Foundation for Reason and Science. And he was complaining that when he set this up, he had to fill out all this paperwork to get registered as a charity, justifying how reason or science could benefit society. If he just marked religion as the reason for the charity, it would have been easy. But he stuck to the principle that it wasn't a religion. You might have heard a short little phrase that I think sums it up. Atheism is a religion like not collecting stamps is a hobby. If there has to be a position, I only think it qualifies as a religion if it is either, and I probably shouldn't pigeonhole like this, but there's no doctrines, there's no text, there's no faith. It's just a definition of a position. You're right. I can't say I know it 100%. I don't say that. But to the degree that we all have the same evidence, we have to come to some evaluation of the probabilities, and that's all I'm doing. If we were to in some way, and I don't think you could, but if in some way we were to prove the atheist position, I don't think you'd then call it a religion. So it's not about what it is, and it's certainly not about faith. So I say no, not a religion.
Language that we use, so I just want to clarify that. So I think it's worth 1 minute each to speak to why do you, and it was not specific as to you and who, refer to God as He. And I think that's a good one, and maybe we'll start with Devinder, because he did address that particular question. So we'll start at this end of the table and move down.
You're going to turn it up.
Maybe you want to stand here, Devinder. So, I think I pretty much covered it. We don't consider God a he or she. It's in both forms in the Guru style. Like I said, we more consider God the Guru Shabad, the sound current, more or less to translate, the Guru Shabad. So, the sound current is what we believe. It's the vibration that covers all life, all the universe, not a he or she. Again, how do you put a name on something and define it? Thank you.
This book in front of me is written by Dr. Deepak Chopra, How to Know God. He tackles this question, and I'm going to read it out for just a few lines, and that'll be in next 30 seconds so I can have my minute. He says that finding a pronoun for, he uses the he. So he says that finding a pronoun for God is not easy. In keeping with common tradition, this book uses he, but surely God transcends all gender. I could have rotated 3 different pronouns, he, she, and it, but that would not have gotten any nearer to the truth, and it would have made for very clumsy reading. So the only way we describe as a he in the Holy Quran is because of his might, and normally with man it comes like strength and all that. Not that we're not strong, but I'm just talking about generally speaking, man is considered to be like a big thing. So for that purpose, it is used he. Otherwise, as the doctor says, and I agree, he's not he, he's not she, he's not it. He's a being, he's a light, he's energy, so whatever you call. So energy is something which is around us. So that's why we have this he to describe him. If I would have called him she, then men would have called him. So you have to call him something. Just
Father Terry.
So, Jesus is the He. And the way that Jesus treated people in his day is the revelation of Christianity, that men and women are equal in God's eyes. There were so many stories in the scripture. The woman caught in adultery was dragged in full view of everyone to be stoned to death for her sin. Jesus could see the hypocrisy of that. There was a man involved, obviously. And for her to be dragged in full view, where's the man? So the equality of men and women is just latent in the scripture. I think the discussion of male and female is sort of a hot button topic today. But Jesus revealed God as Father, but it transcends the male and female today, because we know that God is transcendent and God is mystery, and God is neither male nor female, but Jesus referred to him as Father in the genitive sense. So for Christianity, male and female are one and equal and the same. There's no such thing as male dominance. That's what's been revealed in Christianity through Jesus Christ.
Thank you. Frank.
In our culture, there is no words that we use that identifies as a he. In our tradition, in our way of life, we identify Creator, the perfect balance of male and female energy. And what we learn in this work and walking the ancient trail of our ancestors is to identify the perfect formula of the male and female energy of all creation. And me as a man, to find myself there, first I must respect and honor my sisters, big time. And when I find myself there, I find a balance of the male energy in that same realm, that we are very special, that we are very sacred. Without each other, life does not exist. So if it's straight he, then how can life exist? If it's a straight she, how can life exist? There has to be a he and she to make things happen. So it takes man to bring himself to that perfect balance of understanding the Creator of the male and female energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Ed?
Well, obviously my opinion isn't quite on the same level as it will be for other speakers. There's actually a movement among feminists. It was popular a number of decades ago, but it was a problem they brought up, that specifically with the Abrahamic religions, that God didn't seem to always put women on the same level. Most of the prophets and most of the miracles, Jesus, male figures, women didn't get the same quality of treatment. Not that that's a religious thing. In all societies, women got the short end of the stick for a very long time. I would tend to agree that I address God as his followers treat him, and for that reason, I do use the male pronoun. I think most of the traits people think of when they picture God are male. But I do acknowledge there are some theologians and people who take a little bit more care with this, and there's a valid case to be made that, as an argument, God doesn't have to be male. So those are my thoughts on it anyway.
Thank you, Ben.